And now I would call upon our next speaker, Ms. Niti Desai from Mumbai. She is a consultant nutritionist practicing in South Mumbai, and she has been attached to Columbia Kumbala Hill Hospital for last 17 years. And she has been into an association of diabetes educators and lot more. So I would just request we start with the Ms. Niti Desai's further aspect upon diets.
A very good afternoon to one and all. On the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Yash Patel and the organizing committee for having me here on this platform. Today, I'm going to be talking about the role of a low carbohydrate diet in treatment of diabetes and obesity. Let me emphasize it's going to be a moderate low carbohydrate intake in combination with moderately high protein intake. All of you will agree with me that our patients are not highly compliant when it comes to nutrition therapy. And this is because, as Margaret Mead said, it is easier to change a man's religion than to change his diet. Therefore, a good diet plan needs to be realistic, practical, sustainable, and most importantly, balanced so that it does not eliminate entire food groups. Now, our Indian diet is at the moment extremely high in carbohydrates, very low in protein, and primarily vegetarian. This is because we are a carb heavy country. We just like our carbohydrates. So the START study showed us that whether we in diabetics or non-diabetics, the carbohydrate content of the diet is high pan India, and it ranges from 61 to 70% when the upper limit is 60%. And the recent NIN report also highlights the fact that the proportion of population consuming more than the recommended intake of cereals, which is primarily the carbohydrates, is 97% in rural and 69% in the urban areas. This excellent study in Lancet shows us that the risk of death is the lowest when the diet is composed of moderate carbohydrate content. So moderate carbohydrate intake is the key. The other challenge facing us as Indians is that we are not meeting our protein requirements. Nearly more than 80% of the population is not meeting the requirements. And again, the NIN tells us that the proportion of population that is consuming protein rich foods is just 5% amongst rural and 18% among the urban areas. So if you have a look at this traditional diet, which is very common in the urban cities and metros, you will see that there is some protein lurking in one meal. Otherwise, all the rest of the food choices are all carbohydrate rich foods. And when this diet was analyzed, we realized that the protein content of this diet is only 30 grams, which is woefully inadequate of our daily requirements. So the Indian diet is not meeting 1 gram per kg body weight of our RDA. And protein rich foods are, in fact, extremely important in the treatment of obesity and diabetes because they increase satiety, they promote weight loss, and of course, improve glycemic control through various mechanisms. So, in practical sense, we need to include protein at each meal and replace some carbs with protein, which is even more important. So, does this make the diet extremely restrictive and boring? Well, there are some very simple tricks and tweaks where we can still ask our patients to include their favorite foods with minor changes. So, for example, an aloo paratha can become a paneer paratha. Similarly, for the evening snack options, the traditional namkeen can be replaced with a handful of nuts or sprout salads, or even a bhel could be had with addition of chana and some salad. Similarly, some tweaking for the main meals also works wonders. And in fact, we can have variety of tasty regional dishes for the main meals also. The diet does not have to be boring or restrictive at all. We get excellent results with this little tweaking. where we up the protein intake and reduce the carbs. In fact, this is an SMBGA chart of a patient I saw yesterday, and you can see the reduction in the sugar levels in 10 days. And of course, there are enough studies which is telling us that a moderate carbohydrate, moderate protein diet leads to weight loss, along with other favorable changes such as reduction in dyslipidemia and reduction in postprandial insulin response. And then there are some more studies as well. So a moderate low carbohydrate, moderate high protein diet is not a short-term diet. It's a long-term lifestyle change for us as Indians. So in conclusion, we are a carb-rich nation. We are not meeting our protein requirements. To achieve weight loss and improve glycemic control, we need to reduce the carbohydrate intake to 45 to 50% of our energy requirements, which works out to around 170 to 225 grams of carbohydrates a day, and increase the amount of protein to meet our daily 1 gram per kg per day requirement. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Niti ma'am, for providing us a good glance on the low carb diet.